I've spent my life as a people pleaser, always smoothing edges and swallowing my own needs to keep others happy. Now in my 30s with over a decade in marketing, I've seen bosses of every stripe, some who lifted me up, some who coasted, and a few who left scars. But one looms largest, a specter from 5 years ago. Pamela, the VP of Marketing and Sales who nearly broke me. This is the story of how I carried her load, uncovered her betrayal, and years later, closed her chapter with a single satisfying click. A new captain, a sinking ship. In 2018, I was a marketing manager at a mid-sized retailer in Chicago, a company beloved for its quirky home goods, think plaid throws and artisanal candles. I joined 3 years earlier, rising from coordinator to manager, my role a hydra of responsibilities. I ensured the website and 40 stores sparkled with perfect merchandising, managed monthly sales materials, oversaw ad campaigns, set the department's budget, project-managed operations, crafted sales reports, and drafted creative briefs. I even planned company parties, glitzy affairs that felt like vanity projects. With access to the VP's email, I sent messages on her behalf, a ghostwriter keeping the department's pulse steady while juggling my own tasks. Then came Pamela, the new VP of Marketing and Sales. Mid-40s, she arrived in a flurry of designer scarves and polished confidence, her office a shrine to ambition with a Lake Michigan view. Whispers said she was the board's fourth pick, a compromise to calm shareholders after a string of leadership misfires. I'd heard she'd flamed out at her last firm, but I pushed the gossip aside. People pleaser, right? I wanted to make it work. Our first meeting was in her sterile office, a space of glass and chrome, her desk littered with unopened planners and a wilting orchid. "Emily, you're the backbone here," she said, her smile bright but her eyes distant. "I'm counting on you to keep this ship sailing." I nodded, flattered, missing the warning in her tone. I didn't realize I'd be doing her job, steering the ship, scrubbing the decks and charting the course, while she posed at the helm. The grind behind the glamour. Pamela's work was a mirage. She'd saunter in after 10 a.m., her heels echoing through the open-plan office, already on her phone planning business lunches that bled into the afternoon. These weren't deal closers. They were wine-soaked chats with her cronies, expense to the company card at trendy loop bistros. By 3 p.m., she'd vanished to client meetings that suspiciously aligned with blowouts at Michigan Avenue salons or sample sales at Nordstrom. Her true obsession was company parties, extravaganzas with jazz quartets, custom cocktails, and charcuterie boards that could feed a small town. They were less about team spirit and more about her playing queen, while I booked venues, haggled with caterers, and sent invites. Why are we dropping $25,000 on a spring gala when our ad budget's tapped out? I asked one day, my laptop open to a spreadsheet screaming red. We were in her office, the lake glinting beyond her window, a cruel contrast to my stress. She waved a manicured hand, her gold bracelet jangling. "It's about culture, Emily. Happy employees sell better. Pull from next quarter to cover it, make it balance." I froze, my instincts flashing warning lights. "That's risky. Accounting might flag it." Her smile tightened. "You'll figure it out. That's why you're here." I complied, reshuffling funds, tweaking budgets under her explicit orders to mask her spending sprees. Each month, I'd submit an adjusted budget that painted her as prudent, while the real numbers, buried in my files, told a tale of chaos. It was a fragile lie, and I upheld it, working 12-hour days split between the office's fluorescent hum and my kitchen table after my daughter Lily, then 5, drifted to sleep. Weekends melted into pre-dawn emails and midnight reports, my laptop's fan whirring as my husband, Tom, snored upstairs. Lily's drawings, stick-figure families under sunny skies, sat by my keyboard, a reminder of what I was missing. Mistakes happened. With a dozen balls in the air, budgets, ads, events, I'd flub a vendor payment or miss a report deadline. Pamela would pounce, her voice syrupy in team meetings. "Emily, let's tighten up, okay?" she'd say while my team of 4 coordinators, stretched thin, shot me sympathetic looks. I'd fixed her own blunders, typos in client emails, botched presentation slides, but took the blame to keep peace. My team leaned on me and I shielded them from her whims, absorbing her jabs. People pleaser, always saying yes even as my health frayed. The holiday meltdown. Christmas 2018, Pamela's first major season, was a train wreck. Sales cratered, stores echoed with unsold inventory, online clicks stalled. She'd meddled endlessly, axing our merchandise team's tested promotions for her own genius ideas. Her store visuals, gaudy banners and neon props, clashed with our cozy brand, alienating shoppers. She fired our reliable ad agency for a parade of PR firms staffed by her buddies, each charging exorbitant fees for flops. One campaign featured Instagram influencers, yoga moms and crypto bros, pitching our quilts to followers who didn't care. I'd pleaded with her, armed with analytics. Our core buyers are families, not fitness buffs, I said in her office, my voice steady despite my racing pulse. She smirked, leaning back in her leather chair. You're thinking too small, Emily. I know what sells. I was drowning. My days stretched to 14 hours, my phone a lifeline to chaos, store managers begging for signage, vendors chasing checks, my team scrambling to fix her disasters. Lily's questions, why aren't you at my school play? Cut deeper than Pamela's critiques. Tom, a high school teacher with a saint's patience, handled dinners and bedtimes, but his worry grew. You're fading, Em, he said one night, his hands kneading my tense shoulders. I promised to ease up post-holidays, but the lie tasted bitter. Then my body gave out. An infection I'd dismissed as a cold spiraled into sepsis. I collapsed at home, fever blurring the world, waking in a hospital bed with tubes snaking from my arm. Doctors were frank. Stress had gutted my defenses. You're not a machine, one said. Tom, gripping my hand, his eyes red, echoed them. This job's killing you. Lily's absence, she was with Tom's parents, felt like a hole in my chest. The betrayal in black and white. Recovery crawled, days of 4 drips, nights of fitful sleep under hospital buzzers. Guilt gnawed, my team was floundering, Pamela likely fuming. A week in, restless and wired to work, I grabbed my phone and checked my email, then Pamela's to file a receipt. What I found wasn't work, it was a knife to the heart. Upper management had sent Lily's, Pamela's favorite, not mine, with a card wishing me well, her handiwork clear. I opened her inbox to save the receipt and stopped cold. Her recent emails were a gallery of deceit. To a friend, Claire, she whined, Emily's still in the hospital, like sepsis is an excuse to bail. I'm stuck sorting her chaos. Another scoffed at my system. She says it's all on the shared drive, nothing's there. Typical. My files, budgets, briefs, labeled like a librarian's dream, were a click away if she'd bothered. The worst was a thread with Mark, an old colleague from her last job. He asked who was really running the show, and Pamela named me, admitting I handled everything. Mark's response was a playbook for sabotage. If sales don't rebound, point to her. Mismanaged projects, budget screw-ups, she's the weak link. She's hospitalized, perfect cover. Don't fire her outright, it'll scream retaliation. Dig up something juicy like theft or resource misuse and you're golden. Pamela's reply chilled me, smart. I'll start looking. My hands shook, the phone's glow harsh against the dim room. She wasn't just dodging blame, she was crafting a trap to bury me to save her failing tenure. I thought of Lily's drawings taped to my bed rail, Tom's tired smile, the nights I'd sacrificed. I forwarded the emails to my personal account, my breath shallow. The people-pleaser in me was crumbling, replaced by a fire I hadn't known I had. The counterstrike. Back at work, my cubicle a shrine of get-well cards, Pamela played the saint. So glad you're okay, she cooed, her perfume cloying. In her office, now sporting a garish abstract painting she'd expensed, she dropped the act. Emily, you're stretched too thin, she said, her voice faux kind. I'm taking budget management off you. Just drop invoices to accounting. No budget talks with them, got it? And any issues, workload, whatever, come to me, not HR. I'm here to help. I smiled, my face a mask, but my mind was a chessboard. She was boxing me out, cutting my ties to accounting, where Lois, our head accountant, had been my rock. Lois, 50s, with a smoker's rasp and a desk of family photos, had once said, "You need me, I'm your girl." Pamela's plan was transparent. Control the budget, twist any gaps into Emily's theft, and fire me as her scapegoat. But she didn't know I'd kept everything. Her handwritten budget notes, her threatening emails, the truth in black and white. That afternoon, I grabbed her invoices, a mundane stack of vendor bills. In my office, a closet with a buzzing light, I pulled a locked file from my cabinet. Hard copies of old budgets, Pamela's scrawl circling numbers to fudge, the hospital email threads plotting my fall, an early email where she'd warned, "Make this work, Emily, or I'll find someone who will." I added the current month's unedited budget, raw with her overspending, $30,000 on parties, $15,000 on her friends' PR flops. My hands steady, I tucked it all into a folder, a quiet weapon. I walked to accounting, the folder heavy, my pulse loud in my ears. Lois was at her desk, sipping coffee from a world's best grandma mug. Invoices from Pamela, I said, setting it down. Her eyes flicked to its bulk, then met mine, sharp with understanding. Lois, Pamela's the only one you talk budgets with now. Not me. She leaned back, a faint smile tugging her lips. Understood, Han. With a gentle shove she added, now scram. I left, adrenaline singing. I'd handed Lois dynamite, her move now. The reckoning. By Wednesday the office hummed with tension. By Friday Pamela was gone, marched out by security, her designer purse clutched like a lifeline. Lois had taken the folder to Richard, the CEO, a no-frills exec who valued results over flash. The evidence, budgets, emails, Pamela's own words, was a guillotine. Reckless spending, a plot to frame me, a department propped up by my sweat while she preened. Richard and HR summoned me to his office, a wood-paneled space smelling of leather and coffee. Emily, we failed you, Richard said, his tie askew. Pamela's actions were egregious. She's been terminated, effective immediately. HR, a quiet woman named Diane, added, we're reviewing oversight processes to ensure this doesn't happen again. They offered a paid week's vacation, flexible timing, and a raise I hadn't asked for. I nodded, relief washing over me, my mind drifting to Lily's upcoming recital. The office buzzed, Pamela's exit a shockwave. My team threw a low-key lunch at a taco joint, their toasts unspoken thanks for shielding them. Lois caught me in the hall, winking. Told you I had your back. I stayed a year, but the company's flaws, nepotism, shaky strategy, gnawed at me. I left for a smaller firm where I rebuilt my confidence, my work valued without strings. A new dawn, an old ghost. Today I'm a marketing manager at a boutique agency, my office a sunny nook overlooking a Chicago park, oaks swaying beyond the glass. My boss, Mike, 40s, is a dream, trusts my calls, backs me in meetings, laughs at my bad puns. I'm hiring a team to lead myself, a chance to mentor as I wished I'd been. Lily's 10, her room a chaos of comics and glitter pens. Tom's my anchor, coaching soccer and sneaking me lattes on rough days. Life's not flawless, but it's ours, carved from hard-won lessons. This morning, sorting resumes for my new team, I froze. Among the stack was Pamela. My heart skipped. Was it another Pamela? But her CV was unmistakable. Her career had tanked, VP at our old company, her zenith, followed by a trail of short gigs at startups, a vague consultant role screaming desperation. Her resume was a lie, claiming my victories. The website revamped, the ad campaigns, even an absurd 87% sales surge during that holiday flop. She'd erased me, rewriting history to steal my work. Memories flooded back, sleepless nights, hospital tubes, her smug plan to ruin me. I thought of calling Mike but stopped. This was mine to settle. I pictured Lily, her latest drawing of us at the zoo, and Tom, his steady hand in mine. I wasn't that people-pleaser anymore, bending to others' shadows. Pamela hadn't earned my mercy. With a calm breath, I clicked disqualified, her name vanishing from my screen. It wasn't spite, it was closure, a door shut on a past that no longer owned me. I leaned back, sunlight warming my desk, and exhaled. Some battles end quietly, and that's enough. Beyond the click. The aftermath of Pamela's firing wasn't just office gossip. It was a reckoning for me. That week's vacation, taken in spring 2019, was a reset. Tom, Lily, and I drove to a cabin in Wisconsin, its porch overlooking a lake that shimmered at dawn. Lily chased fireflies, her giggles a bomb. Tom and I sipped wine, planning a future where I'd set boundaries. You're enough, he said, his voice soft. I believed him, maybe for the first time. Back at work, I mentored my team with new clarity, teaching Sarah to nail pitches, guiding Raj through budget traps. They thrived, and I realized I wasn't just a manager. I was a leader, not by pleasing but by empowering. When I left, they sent me off with a scrapbook. Notes of gratitude, photos from our taco lunches. It sits on my shelf now, a reminder of what I built. Pamela's ghost lingered in industry circles. A colleague mentioned her last year, now scraping by at a third-rate agency, her reputation muddied by whispers of mismanagement. I felt no glee, her fall was her own making, not mine. Lois retired, sending me a card with a cheeky, "Stay out of trouble." I framed it, a nod to the woman who'd tipped the scales. My new role is my redemption. Mike's trust lets me experiment. Last month, my campaign for a local bakery doubled their orders, their owner tearfully thanking me. My team, once hired, will be mine to shape, diverse, hungry, free to fail and grow. Lily's at an age where she notices my work. You make cool stuff, Mom, she said, sketching me at my desk. Tom's planning a summer trip, maybe Colorado mountains to clear our heads. Clicking disqualified wasn't about Pamela, it was about me. The girl who said yes to everything died in that hospital bed. The woman I am now chooses her fights, her loves, her limits. As I shut my laptop, the park outside golden with dusk, I know I'm not just surviving, I'm whole. The end.